resource. So highly encourage folks to go and learn about it.
Thanks, Ed, for that. Appreciate it. Anybody, Bikash or Tejas, anything to add before I throw a few questions
I'm fine.
at you?
Maybe we can get into the question, considering we just have 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Unless they just want to add something.
No, I think I'm good too. So please go to the questions.
Cool. So here's a couple questions, and they're coming at us from every aspect, from a business perspective, from a technology complement perspective, and then from a technical perspective. So I'm going to just pick one, because I like this one. I like this one the best. How does external attack surface management complement other security technologies? So I like to use the term all the time. How do we help leverage total cost of ownership in an environment, right? Is EASM going in there to try to replace things, or is it something where you can create a technology integration to, again, where EASM can kind of, I'm an old guy, used to these BASF used to have a commercial on TV. It was called, "We don't make your speaker, we make it louder." So does EASM make your speaker louder, or does it replace the speaker, right? So I think it makes it louder, but I don't know. Anybody answer that? How does EASM, in your mind, I'm going to throw this out to Tejas. How would this type of security offering, external attack surface management, complement other security tools that have been deployed?
So what I would take and say, compare it with something like a digital risk protection. So if you look at EASM, that focuses more on the discovery aspects. That's like Bikash mentioned, that's primarily more on the recon side. Well, something like a digital risk protection provides you a 360-degree view. It also does a takedown. But EASM, as it stands, like Paul, you rightly mentioned in the BASF analogy, right? It's not replacing, or it's not taking away your speaker and creating a new one. It's not doing something which has not been done before. It's just possibly providing some method to the madness and organizing things better, so that we understand that to treat the external attacks differently and the external assets differently in terms of the risk it brings to the table as compared to the internal assets.
Yeah.
So
let me add to that a little bit. So thanks, Tejas. So I mean, apart from a few of the key things which you mentioned, EASM complements a few of the aspects. Like, for example, it complements the vulnerability management program, because a VM program is as good as the coverage of its assets, right? If you don't have the coverage of assets, then you can't do a good job, right? So that's one. The second thing which it brings is the continuity. I mean, you can do reconnaissance as a consulting exercise using team, using open source tool, but can you do that on an hourly basis? Can you do that on a daily basis? It's not possible, right? So it complements those programs by giving you the ability to do it on a continuous basis. And today, if you look at the ransomware guys, the nation state actors, they are doing it continuously. So we should also do it continuously. That's the kind of second area where it complements. It also complements the red and blue teaming organization in a way, because it frees up a lot of their, like maybe, I don't know, 80% of their bandwidth in terms of doing those same old stuff, so that can be given to automated tools, and they can do those deeper and more complex stuff. So it can also augment your red teaming organization. It can also augment the SOC, like what I mentioned the last time, and the TI program. So I'm not elaborating on that. So EASM does a few things, or which others don't do in certain ways, but then it also augments multiple of those internal security programs which are already existing, which gives the completeness, which helps in the completeness, and which also helps in the continuity. May not be the depth, as Ed mentioned. EASM is more about the breadth, but for depth you need to go for pen testing and the other stuff. So it offers or complements many of these programs in terms of breadth of coverage and continuity.
That's great.
And by the way,
Great answer.
Paul, I know there's some more questions. I have a hard stop, so I would let Ed and Tejas.
Yeah. I was just going to say, that was a great. I think that was a great way to end. I mean, I think we all have, I want to be respectful of everybody's time and all the attendees and all of our panelists. We very much appreciate everything you guys were able to do for us today. This is very interactive. We probably could go for 5 hours on this thing, but then we would all be asleep and eating our arms and stuff like that. But no, great job today. Thank you all very much. Thank you for the attendees. Pulami behind the curtain, thank you for all of your participation and support. We'll see you all next week at the